Kalpana Shankar. As told, I am a special educator in the field of experience of more than 10 years. I work mainly with children who have learning challenges like specific learning disabilities as dyslexia, dysgraphia. So going forward, today's topic, we are going to talk about topic which is cognitive skills, how to build cognitive skills in our children. What are cognitive skills? It's a thinking process. As we know, we need thinking skills to in our daily activities as well as in academic to make decisions, to solve a problem. So forward, like I'll be sharing my screen and then. So what is as an adult, as a special educators, as parents, as adults, our main aim should be we must teach our children and make them prepare for the 21st century skills. We should ask them how to think. We should guide them how to think and not what to think. This is what our webinar is going to be. What to think, we are just putting our thoughts into that. That's not going to prepare them for the 21st century and going forward. And how to think and how to solve a problem. This is what our topic is going to be today. So just a moment, let me think. We know that many of our problems happen because we don't take that moment to think. We just come to a conclusion and we get into all kinds of problems. But if we take that one moment to think and then see the situation and arrive at some solution, our life would have been much, much better in many situations. So this is what is going to be. Just we are going to teach a child to, just a moment, let me think, not to take decisions haphazardly or impulsively. We give the moment because the brain mind needs to think from the sources we have gathered, by comparing our situation, by contrasting, by evaluating. We need to think and then arrive at a conclusion. Not all of us are born with that immediate taking solution finding skills. We need skills. We need that skill to develop in many of our children. Like they are just like a clay. We need to mold them, to teach them skills which will help them in their future as well as the immediate present. As we all know that intelligence is not static. We are born with one kind of IQ, that's for sure, but it is a fluid. It can be developed by giving the appropriate exposure and guidance to children. So we cannot say the child, we have an IQ of 90, we are going to stay with that. So intelligence is not static. We are not born with the static, so like this plasticity. Now we have come to, with researchers have said that intelligence is plasticity with appropriate exposure to children to different activities. Intelligence or the emotional skills, the thinking skills can be developed. It's not a rigid, it's a flexible, it's kind of a fluid. And this theory had been developed by Dr. Ewan Fuston. He is based out of Israel, and he's a cognitive psychologist. And he has worked for throughout his life more than 80 years in this field and continues to develop this program through his successors. So what are we going to do? We are going to have a brief discussion about what are the cognitive skills, how can we teach those skills to them through MLE, that's a mediated learning experience, and what is the theory behind FIE, what is the FIE is all about, and we'll also touch upon the instruments that we can use to teach the children the learning skills, the cognitive skills. Okay. We'll just, why we have to teach thinking skills? I gave a brief introduction. So in our daily life, in different situations, we may face some kind of a problem, and that needs thinking. Through thinking, we can arrive at a solution, right? So if there's a problem and if we don't arrive at a solution, that problem will not be solved and we'll get into further problems. So how do we solve those problems? This is what. Thank you, Punit, for your answer. So critical thinking skill is very important, and we need to guide them to how to arrive at a solution using the appropriate. So what is a critical thinking? Critical thinking just not acting out. We need actively and skillfully conceptualizing what is the problem is like, what is the how I can handle it, applying my past information, analyzing the present situation, and information to reach a conclusion. Okay, this has happened. I can do this ABC and then arrive at a conclusion. And this is taught, can be taught through intervention mediated learning experience. That's called MLE. It's a process which is focused on helping the individual understand why this has happened, what is this, and what does this mean to me, why I should need to solve this, how can I solve this. So through mediated learning experience, this is called MLE. It's a process focused on helping the individual. Some individual may just able to gather the data. Okay, this is happening, this is happening, this is happening. Why this is happening, they may not be able to understand. So as an adult, as an educator, as a facilitator, it's our duty to make them understand how this has happened. What will happen if this has happened? What can mean it to you or others in the immediate family or friends? So as said before, it has been developed by Dr. Ewan Houston. It's an intervention program designed to develop thinking skills, and it uses the cognitive skills which we already have, like comparing, contrasting, recalling, processing, reasoning, and problem solving, and taking a decision. It uses this cognitive skills to develop the independent thinking skills. We know our children who have learning challenges, they have this neurological some disconnect is there in the brain, and they are not able to gather the data in entirety. They may have a problem in recalling because of poor working memory skills. They may not be able to properly analyze the situation. Comprehension reasoning can be a further challenge for them. But with this instrument, we can teach them. We can guide them to make them understand like how to use this skills. We can teach this skills through the program. So this is what is the full program is based off, the zone of proximal development. It had been developed by Dr. Leo Watzkai, under cognitive psychologist. This is called this zone of proximal development. Some tasks a child can do independently. There are some tasks he can't do it now, but he or she can do if it is guided with a proper intervention through proper questioning method. And there are some tasks which can't be done right now, but can be done when he reaches this guided, and then he can go to the higher level of thinking. This is called the zone of proximal development. We observe the child, what the child can do independently. And then we also see the task. Okay, he can gather the data, but gather the details, but he's not able to compare which is big in terms of size. He knows it's big, this is small. But if you give two things, he cannot say this is bigger than that, this is smaller than that. But it can be done with proper intervention. It can be done if guided through proper intervention. So we will not go to the task which the child may find it extremely difficult right now, but we will guide the child to do other tasks which is at a higher level of thinking through slow intervention and guided intervention. So what are the goals of FIE? To correct the kind of thinking pattern that impair learning. Suppose a child may have a very low attention span. He's not able to gather the data effectively. So what is needed? If he has to go to a school, he has to pack his bag. He may just put his book. He may not put his or her tiffin box or pencil. So he has to organize himself, thinking patterns. Okay, I'm going to the school. I need to take this. So this may also be seen in the academic learning to follow the instructions. So it's an individual program, like we see what are the cognitive dysfunction a child has, and then give the required skills. To motivate students to solve problems. There may be a problem, how to solve problem. We are not going to say how, they are going to guide them. They will have their how to solve their problems through different events or activities. To make thinking automatic, consistent, and permanent. What we have learned, it has to become automatic and has to be consistent throughout and permanent. Through practice, this can happen. To develop insight and understanding of students' own thought process. Why am I doing this? So he or she has to understand why this is happening, why am I acting like this, what can I do to solve a problem, to change students' attitudes from passive to active participants and generators of information. They may have hesitant, they may have low self-confidence, they may be hesitant because they're not confident enough to answer in a group. So from passive, they may know the answer, but they are not confident enough to tell in front of everybody. So we develop that self-confidence and confidence to answer and be a part of the group. To enhance communication between student and mediator. Mediator is the facilitator. It can be adult, it can be a sibling, it can anyone who is guiding the student at that moment. So this is the mediator learner. And there is a task, suppose a child has to do a task. He's figuring it out through questioning method, different why, how. Why we have to do this, how we can do this. We'll be keeping on asking questions and the child themselves will figure out, okay, if I do this, this will happen. If I do that, that can happen. And how I can effectively solve an issue. As we say, why this, what is and or has happened, what does this mean to me, why I should do this task, how to deal with the event. So what are the 10 criteria of MLE? That's the mediated learning experiences. The inner core that we can see, the intentionality and the reciprocity, meaning, transcendence. This is the core value of our instrumental enrichment program. So what is the intentionality and reciprocity is what we want the child to learn. What are the skills that we want the child to learn? What can he learn if it is guided? So meaning is pointing towards something. Suppose if the child has a ball, a child does not know what to do, we give the meaning. Okay, you can bounce this ball. You can do this with a ball, cause and effect. You get a car for the child. The child is just looking at the car. So what are the things that you can do with the car? So a child sees a car somewhere. Okay, do you, and we guide the child, do you have a car like this? What can you do with that car with the another car? So differences between a car. So you give a meaning to an activity, just not that you start an activity, you give a meaning. Why we have to learn this? How can we use this learning to the other learnings in the future or any other situation? And then we have transcendence. What is transcendence? From now to there, like applying what we have learned to the other activities that in the future the child can encounter. Transcendence is connecting it to the now to the future activities. So they are transcending the experience that they have gathered to their real life situation. That is the transcendence. So through this, we take self-change. We know that we have to keep on changing growth mindset. So we self-change. If a child is impulsive, it's very important to teach the child to sit and gather the data in a proper manner, precise gathering of data. So self-change can happen through mediation. Competence. To motivate, one should feel competent. Only when we feel that we are, okay, I can do this, I will do it. That can be motivating for the child. So competence is another criteria. We always make sure that child feel competent in doing what he is doing. We don't give that sense of failure. Okay, I can do this. Self-regulation and control of behavior. Impulsivity. Through this activity, impulsivity can be controlled through mediation. Sharing behavior. So when we talk with each other, we gather, we share our ideas, we take in other ideas. So sharing of ideas happens. Individuation is that we look from other person's perspective. So this is mainly happens in a group. This is not an individual learning. So when when the children are in a group, they learn, okay, this person thinks like that, that person thinks like that. I can take this, I need not take this. So individuation happens. Goal planning. So what is the goal? Why I have to do this? What does it entail? So each activity, there will be a challenge. You have to communicate why you need to, what is your answer. You have to defend your answer. That's nothing right and wrong, but you have to defend your answer. Why I gave this answer. What is my perspective? So you challenge yourself mainly. So what is this cognitive process? How do we think? First, we take the input, what is happening, the situation, gathering the data. Then we process it. Okay, this is happening. Why this is happening? So how is it going to affect me? And the elaboration and the output is, okay, how am I going to deal with this situation? How am I going to solve this? Then the elaboration. Through elaboration, the output happen. It has to be precise. It has to be very clear. Then only the outcome will be perfect. So what is the cognitive process? What is the input? Input means the gathering of the data. For the child, it will be counting, describing, the labeling the parts, and matching this to that. Okay, this looks similar to that. And recalling, okay, I have seen this there. It is similar, but it is little bigger. So gathering of data. So what is processing? Comparing, reasoning, sorting it out. Okay, these are all shapes. These are all toys. These are made up of, these are living, non-living creatures. These are living creatures. So processing happens in the mind. Classifying. And output is imagining. Okay, this I've gathered the data. They do the comparing, sorting, whatever is required to solve that problem. And then estimate and prediction all applies in the output stage. So what are the thinking skills? This all, as a mediator, as an educator, we have to keep this while we are taking a session for children. We have to keep this, and according to the individual needs, we make our own questioning strategies. So finding the relationship, depending on the child's level, we know this child can do, if guided, all this he can do. We don't take it beyond the that point. Slowly we build up the thinking skills, analyzing, sequencing, making inferences. Like this cloudy, it may not be raining now, it's making inference, it may be cloudy. So I have to take an umbrella or a raincoat to protect myself. Finding reason, okay, this has happened, why this has happened. Drawing conclusion. So there was a fight, I was beaten because I did this, and I can solve this by not doing this. So creating alternative. This work has not happened. I should think of another solution. So how do we do this? Label and teach the thinking skills through IE experience. Label and teach that. So we take that like all this comparison. We teach this comparison, analyzing, sequencing, what happened first, what happened second. So we use all these skills, and then we make our questionnaires. Ask metacognitive question. How did this happen? What do you have any other choices to this? Do you have any other alternatives? So we ask lot of questions, again depending on the level of the child's thinking process. So next is the make bridges to subject matter and to life applications. So we have learned this. So how are you going to apply in your real life situation? So this is the bridges. It will explain to, I'll explain the slides. So this is the model for the thinking episode. So just learning in that active is not going to be enough. We have to apply this in our, then only the real learning happens. So these are the some of the instruments that comes in the instrumental enrichment program. First is the orientation space. As we are living in this earth, in our space, there's a definite space around us. So we need to know about the orientation in the space. So first, we have to systematically scan. There will be a pictures like this. There are 10 to 15 pictures in this instrument, where the children need to systematically scan the total scene. They have to label, okay, there is a tree, There is a man. So this requires a precision gathering the data. There are squares here. So we are learning shapes here, the environment, and gathering. Okay, what can you see near the path? There are two rabbits. Can you describe the rabbit? Yes. That's one big rabbit and small rabbit. What is the relationship? They can say it's a mother rabbit, it's a baby rabbit, or they can say they are friends. They can say anything they want, but they have to logically defend that. So this, which tree is bigger? The tree on my left is bigger. How many flowers are there? Can you name those flowers? So they have to be pay attention to the questions asked by the mediator. What is the shape that can you see above the flower? They will say diamond. Then you will guide them. Okay, can you name the color? They'll say that's a brown diamond. And what can you see in the tree, the long tree? They will say there are two triangles. Okay. So can you be more precise? Can you say that's one big triangle, then this one small triangle? Okay. Can you name the color? They will say brown color. So what is the difference between this shape on the tree and the shape above the flower, the small flower? They'll say the color is same. What is different? The shape is different. So they try to contrast, compare the shape. They take a moment to think and then arrive the solution. So this is what we work in this different concepts of the spatial relation to with us. Next is the identifying emotions. So here vocabulary, many children don't know what their emotions are like, or they're not able to label the emotions they feel at times. And they get angry and they are not very, what to say, effective communicator. So by looking at this, just the picture, first we show the picture. They have to name the label, the emotion. So some children will say looking happy, some children can say scared. They have to defend. Why are you saying this is happy face? Why are you saying this is scared face? When do you feel scared? When do you feel happy? Do you see other people feeling this? Have you ever seen your mother happy? Have you seen your father happy? So they apply this, whatever the knowledge they have to the past experience as well. Okay, what can you see in the, then they have to match this emotion to the picture. There are 4 pictures. This is a sample work. This is, so they will say a child is there. Okay, can you describe this child? Girl. Why you are saying this is a girl? So we are guiding the child to give a precise answer. We are not just saying, okay, child. We are guiding the child to be more precise in her or his answers. They'll say, yeah, she's wearing a frock, long hair. Boys don't have a long hair. But why you think boys may not have a long hair? Nowadays, we can see boys having a long hair. So they have to defend their answers through appropriate logical reasoning. So what is this girl doing? The girl is plucking a flower. Can you see the girl's face? No. But what do you think the girl is feeling at that moment? They may say relaxed, happy. So is it connected to this picture above? If the child says happy picture, yes, it's connected. I feel happy. Then how do you feel when you go to a park, when you touch a flower? Some children may not like touching a flower. They may not feel happy. So they can say, I don't like. So it's totally valid answer. The next picture is scared. So what is this? So a lot of vocabulary goes in this instrument. They have to give logical reason. Okay, what do you think that people are feeling? Where is this happening? Is it night time or morning time? So the focus is on developing the communication, the vocabulary skills, paying attention to the details, comparing and contrasting, finding the relationship between the pictures, and also expressing themselves. Next instrument that will be touching upon is empathy to action. Once the child knows the emotion, then we take it to the Empathy, developing the empathetic skills. Many children are very egocentric. They don't know what is empathy means. So we teach them to be empathetic through this instrument. Suppose this is a picture. First we show this picture. We ask the child describe the problem. What is happening? Why is happening? Then say one boy is hitting the other boy. Then we will not take the answer there. Can you describe which boy is hitting? Can you describe that boy? How is his face? His emotion is like he's very angry. How can you say that he's angry? So we direct the children to give precise answers. So what do you think the small boy, can you describe the small boy? What is he wearing? Where is this happening? Then, so they will come up with different answers. As a group activity, they'll come up with different answers. So why you think the boy is hitting this boy? What could have happened? So they can come up with the answers based on their own experiences, or then we show them a couple of pictures and ask them what is happening. Suppose this is a person, boy is hitting the other boy. What will you do? What is this person doing? Looking and feeling sad. Will that help? This is not help. Though you are feeling sorry, but you are not doing anything to help. So this is a situation like this boy is standing and pulling his head. He's feeling sad, but is he doing anything to help this small boy who's getting beaten? They'll say yes. He's not doing anything. Is it the right thing to do? Can you stand and see other person get hurt? Okay, let's look at the, so there'll be a lot of questions like open-ended. We can just frame the questions and answer and make the child answer. So what can you see in the second picture? Another boy is coming and trying to avoid the fight, pushing the big boy away to protect the small boy. What do you think about it? If you are in this situation, what will you do? Is it the right thing to do? Which is the right thing to do? Why do you think it is the right thing to do? The answer, we elicit the answers from the student. We don't give the direct answers. We elicit the answers through questioning method. Next comes the compare and discover the absurd. Here two different situations are given and they have to look at the two. It's a little higher level. Then they have to look at the two pictures. What is happening? So they will hear this is reason. What is wrong in this picture? Why is it wrong? Is it then they'll compare the picture from one and to what is happening in picture one. That donkey. First they have to label what you can see in the picture one. I can see a donkey. Okay, why you think it's a donkey? Then they'll describe that animal. So what is happening to that donkey? What is the donkey doing? He's pulling a cart. What kind of a cart is it? It's a small cart. So they have to be very precise in their answering. What else can you see in the picture one? A boy with a hat, a blue pant is pushing the cart. So how are the donkeys feeling? Donkey is feeling tired. Why are you saying that? I can see the donkey is putting the mouth, the tongue out, and I can see lot of sweat out. So donkey must be feeling very, what to say, very tired. And the boy is also feeling very tired based on the picture clues that they are seeing. So why you think that this donkey is feeling very tired? What could be the reason? Where is this donkey going? They'll say down the hill. So when we go down the hill, why it should be very easy to move, but why this donkey is feeling very tired? That's only a small cart behind it. So they can give logical answer if they want. They can say they map that though object is small, it may be very heavy. So they'll come up with different answers. So we also have to be ready with the questions to ask them according to the answer that they are giving. The second picture is a small donkey and the cart is very huge. So, but it's going up the hill, but still the donkey is feeling very relaxed, doesn't seem to be very tight, has a flower in its, that's a precision for the data gathering, has a flower in its mouth and it is it's very happy, it's not feeling very tired. So what is unusual about this picture? The little donkey is pulling a big cart and the big donkey is pulling a small cart. What should we change in this picture? The big donkey should be pulling the big cart and the small donkey should be pulling the small cart. So that could be the and one way of looking at the answer. So they define the problem, they find a solution to the problem. And they also may say that this may be like a very soft, very lightweight wool. So it's not feeling the weight. And this may be made up of iron. So they also can say the answer. We can accept the answers as long as they have the logical answers for it. So what is the FIE is what we have discussed. I put it in the summary. It's identified that overcome the specific difficulties in the stage of input, like gathering data, in processing, that is the elaboration of the problem, and responding, that is the output. And here the teachers, not only the teachers, any adult who is with the child can become a facilitator. And what is the mediator role? Is to understand the learner's level by asking questions, leading and guide, and not telling. We don't give the direct answers here. We just lead them to the answer and guide them to arrive at the answer. To evaluate the learning strategies, we need different kind of strategies, like which is very important. We evaluate. So what is happening? Okay, he's able to do this. What I can ask further questions to further the thinking skills. Partner. We work in partner with the learner to improve the learner's learning process. And most important, the child should always feel competent. Okay, that should, when we finish a program, the child feels, okay, I can do that. They should feel happy about what they have done in the class. So what are the benefits? There are two programs. Instrumental enrichment are both for basic and standard. Here we are for standard is more of pen and paper. Basic is through pictures to develop the thinking skills. The research studies have shown that there is improvement in the academic progress. It corrects the cognitive functions which are failed to develop what's in the emerging stage. It develops a language. When we ask so many questions, vocabulary, it develops a language. So, and it also provides intrinsic motivation. Each picture is very well researched. And the child can answer. That's no yes answer. That's no answer. It has intrinsic motivation. They have to defend their answer. It creates insightful and reflecting thinking. Okay, this is happening here. They will take this situation to their real life. It helps the mediator create motivation learner through pictures, the child through asking questions, by building a competence. It helps the mediator to motivate the child and alters the self-image. When the child starts communicating, the confidence level of the child goes up. So like we say, when we have to build the muscles, we go to the gym. And when we need to develop our thinking, we need to expose the child to different activities. So this will be my end of the presentation. Thank you.